Hi, fellow musicians and music lovers. I'm Sean of the musical collective Sacred and Secular and one half of the duo The Tones, and this is Under Consideration. On this show, as you might know, we talk about tunes that are under consideration for concert pieces and possibly as recording projects for Sacred and Secular, The Tones, and possibly a little solo project that I've got going. I'll share more about that later. And it's discussed. Nice relaxed setting like this, my humble home here in Ray County, Missouri. And it's also with mostly extemporaneous. That is to say, I got a few notes here, but that's about it. So a lot of this is off the cuff. Again, nice and laid back. And if you're tuning in for the first time, welcome. So, the song under consideration in this episode is To Bring You My Love. It's the title track from PJ Harvey's 1995 album. PJ Harvey, if you're not familiar with her, is an English musician and multi-instrumentalist. Also someone that I respect a great deal and have been a fan of hers probably around the time of To Bring You My Love. See, I told you this was off the cuff. To Bring You My Love, which I bought in probably 96. It was sometime after the album had come out, and I'd heard the single that got attention here in the United States, which was Down by the River, which will be another episode of Under Consideration. So look for that sometime. Anyway, PJ Harvey, or Polly Jean Harvey, included To Bring You, the tune To Bring You My Love is under consideration as something for Sacred and Secular to do, either in concert or as a recording. Possibly both, but more likely it's going to be one or the other. So, a little bit of background on my reasons for recording it. I've loved it since I first heard it, which was around the time that I bought it on cassette tape, if anybody remembers those. And again, I bought it in probably 95 or 96. Listened to the whole thing. Bought it again mostly for Down by the Water. But I ended up listening to the whole record and thought it was magnificent from beginning to end. And it turned out I wasn't the only one. It received universal, well, I wouldn't say universal, but it received widespread critical acclaim. And in fact, I think when Rolling Stone did its top 100 albums of the 90s, it was on that list. So just something to consider. But my personal reasons for recording it. Again, I loved it since I first heard it. I love the raw energy of PJ Harvey's vocal. I love the hypnotic, haunting sound of the arrangement that she came up with. And unfortunately, I cannot play that for you here because of copyright reasons. However, I have placed a link in the description below on this channel. So I hope you will check it out. Especially because I got a few discussion questions for you at the end. No, you will not be graded on it. This is not a class after all. But anyway, there's a link for it where you can check it out. And I think you agree with me that yes, there's a raw energy to her vocal, a hypnotic, haunting sound to the track. And there's a personal reason for it. I'm holding my electric bass here Not sure if I got all of it in the camera. I kind of wanted to pull up a little bit closer so that it feels a little bit more informal as I talk. And in doing so, I may have cropped some of the bass out of the camera. So I believe I did mention that this is a low-budget, off-the-cuff show. So that's part of the process, is that not everything gets in frame here. But anyway, this is my electric bass. My nephew Kyle graciously gave me this about 10 years ago when he lived with me for a couple of years. And one of the first songs that I taught myself to play on this, because I couldn't afford lessons, was I found a YouTube video of PJ Harvey where she was playing a 6-string guitar and was playing the riff that runs through To Bring You My Love, which is basically 5 notes. It's a nice, simple song that if you have rudimentary guitar skills, you can teach yourself how to play this. So if you're looking for material to learn how to play, especially something that you feel like that you can sing emotionally with feeling, I strongly urge you to give To Bring You My Love a try if you're looking for cover material. That's my humble opinion there. So anyway, it was one of the first songs I taught myself to play on the electric bass. And so it means a lot to me for that reason. And in the process of learning that, it also encouraged me to re-engage with playing music and singing music, something that I hadn't done for probably about 20 years. I grew up in high school. I was in concert choir. I was in my church choir. I taught myself how to play an auto harp. Thanks to my cousin Donnie Phillips, I was able to bang around and halfway play on a drum kit. And I started teaching myself play piano my senior year of high school and college, took lessons. Those fell by the wayside for a while, and I didn't play much for a long time. But because of To Bring You My Love, I got re-engaged with wanting to play and sing music and share it with people. So I owe PJ Harvey a large debt for that. So those are my reasons why it's under consideration, and because of the religious imagery that she uses in that tune, which you'll find through much of that album, it's under consideration as a sacred and secular piece to either be performed in concert or on record. The reasons I wouldn't consider it is because PJ Harvey does a phenomenal job on that track. And it's a high bar, and she came up with just an ideal arrangement. It's a nice spare arrangement. And I want to be faithful to that, but I also want to find ways of, how does this speak to me? How does this music speak to me? And what instruments, what arrangement helps me share that, why this song matters to me, why it's important as a sacred and secular piece. And so that could be a bit tough. Trying to find something that's kind of faithful to the original, but also shows my own interpretation of it. And I'm sure that's an obvious balancing act that pretty much anybody who who performs outside material has to go through. It's a difficult balancing act. And then the other thing is where to put it in Sacred and Secular's catalog. That's another reason why I'm hesitant to at least put it on record anyway. Might make it something for concerts, but for recording, that might wait a while. And some of that also is financial, because for covered material, Mo-Mutt Music, which is a label along with Shade Tree Entertainment that helps to oversee the musical collective Sacred and Secular, that material is released through DistroKid, which for a small fee per song handles your licensing fees if you're going to do something that's copyrighted material, which obviously this is. So, and I've got some other projects that are under consideration that are outside material for Sacred and Secular to be released under DistroKid. And I don't want to rack up too much in licensing fees. So kind of the verdict the verdict basically for To Bring You My Love is probably perform it in concert at least for a while, possibly several years before it gets recorded. So that's my background. That's my reasons for considering To Bring You My Love. A few discussion questions for you before we go. One is, are you familiar with PJ Harvey's work? If so, what do you think of her? Have you heard To Bring You My Love, either the title track or the album in its entirety? And if so, what do you think of it? And are there any PJ Harvey songs that you would consider doing, and why? So if you want, if you would, please leave answers to those questions in the comments section on this channel. Thanks for listening, and take care and stay safe, and I'll be back with another song soon to discuss on Under Consideration. Bye now.